Hey everybody, it's Sophie and Marco, dish out on the movies, and it's time for Marco to do his duty.
Well, duty is in filler video. I didn't even know. There's like 10 new release movies coming out today, and I don't even know which one that would be worthwhile to review, Safi.
Well,
There's a new
what they are.
There's a new Ice Age movie, a kids movie, animated.
That'd be okay if we had little kids, but
There's a romance movie that takes place in the gold rush, which just makes me want to jump out a window and kill myself. And then there's some movie with Adrian Brody where he has a dark, violent past, and he has to like do things that are dark and actiony. And then there's one with Alicia Silverstone where she encounters a shark, and it's like these
what, is she scuba diving or something?
I don't know, it's just these movies fucking sound terrible. But it's like, which one would be worth it to review? Like, I could just picture reviewing all of them, and all of them would only get like 5 views each or something. That's what it feels like would happen. So I'm just gonna do another Goosebumps book review. And the one for this week is Ghost Beach. Safi,
Yeah, what about it?
haven't you ever read Ghost Beach?
I think so. I think I've seen the show.
Well,
I don't think I've read it. I've only read a few Goosebumps books because my children were reading them, so I didn't need to read them.
this book is an underrated Goosebumps book.
Is this with the dog?
Yes, Safi.
Okay, yeah, I remember it.
I watched the episode too. I liked the episode.
I did too.
Everyone has shat all over the episode, talked about how it's terrible.
No.
They say it's like the worst episode. It's like
No.
like fuck off with that.
No
Like,
way.
did you see how they raped that It Came From Beneath the Sink book? I mean,
No.
that episode is the worst one. Because they literally took one of the best books of the series and they ruined it in that episode.
With the sponges that were alive?
Yeah, it was one sponge, and they ruined it. That book is a masterpiece. It's one of the best, and they ruined it.
Oh.
And well, with this book, it's actually a pretty good episode, and it's a pretty good book too. It's a very underrated book. And I don't blame people for underrating it though, because it starts off and it's very boring, and you're thinking like, ugh. Like, the cover is fantastic with the ghost on top of the beach and the gravestones. That's one of the best covers in history of the series. And it wouldn't surprise me. You start off and it's this very bland story about kids going on a vacation to see some relatives, these old people, and they're just walking around a beach and doing stuff, and it starts off very boring, but it gets very interesting fast because of the atmosphere that they build. It's a fantastic setting with this beach and this area. It's probably one of the best settings in the series, and they really do a good job with that. And the characters, they're not very good as usual. That's no surprise. But I do like the old people. They're very weird and mysterious, and sort of like, you can tell that there's a layer of fakeness to where they're hiding their true whatever. And anyways, the story, it's a little boring, but it gets really, really good in the last act and completely makes up for the rest of the book. And the last act is really good. The kids meet Harrison, who he's like basically the Van Helsing of ghosts, and he has come to trap ghosts in a cave. And because he figures out that you can just trap them in there and then seal the cave forever. And it's like, that's pretty cool actually, that I guess the ghosts can't go through walls or something. They can't go through rocks, but I really like that idea that, you can actually trap ghosts forever in order to defeat them. Because in a lot of these ghost stories, it doesn't seem like there's any way to defeat ghosts except for to just leave the place. Or unless it's Ghostbusters, where you put them in a trap and store them in an energy machine. But other than that, I like the fact that there's actually a real way to trap ghosts and get rid of them. And so Harrison, he's a cool character, and he has a dog. And that's another thing about this book, is that it's pretty dark. They start off and they're in this cemetery, and the cemetery is literally just filled with the ancestors of all the main characters. And it's a very interesting, it reminds me a lot of Dark Shadows. And so I really like that aspect of this book. But it's really dark because there's another dog, and the ghosts, and the whole book is about who the ghosts are. And obviously it's the only other characters in the book, the two kids. That's not very surprising. But the kids kill a dog. And there's a dead dog on the beach. And I thought that was really cool, because this is one of the few books where R.L. Stine had the balls to push the boundaries. And it was just some random dog. And so automatically you're now afraid for Harrison's dog too. Because dogs can sense ghosts. And so the ghosts don't want the dogs around, because they'll warn people about who the ghosts are. Mm-hmm. And so I love all this stuff. It's really good. And then the ending where they trap the ghost, Harrison sacrifices himself, is really good. And they already had a great ending with that. But then they go back in the house with their cousins, who are like these old people, and they go back in there, and this twist ending is probably, it might be the best Goosebumps ending of all time, where it turns out that the old people are ghosts too. And so the old people actually imply that they're going to kill the dog and the two kids at the end of the book. And I thought that is the greatest ending of Goosebumps book history, because the whole book, the book tricks you with this layer of lightness, and just the whole book has like a casual feeling. But then at a certain point, the gloves come off, and it turns out that the story actually is pretty dark and pretty good. And so I would give the book a B-. I would say this is definitely one of the better ones that I've read of the series. And it tricks you, though. And I think that therefore the book suffered, because kids don't have the attention span to care about this crap. And so it's a B-. I would give the episode a B- as well. I would say both things are pretty good. So that's it. So, Safi, what should people do?
If you like this review, please punch the like button and subscribe, because we love all subscribers.
Punch it?
Sure, why not? With your finger. And press the subscribe button if you would like to be one of our subscribers. We welcome all for free discussion and a sharing of ideas. We don't all have to agree, but at least make a comment is if we don't agree, is why we don't agree. So, just for information purposes.
Do you agree about this book, Safi? Because
it sounds interesting.
The more and more you talk about it, the more and more stuff there is to like.
Is there a sequel to the book?
No.
Really?
No.
There should be.
It's not surprising, because, as I said,
he's not into that, I guess.
He is, but with the bad ones. But as I said, the book really tricks you into thinking that it's going to be a very light story, and it's not going to have a lot going on. And then in the last act, it's like, oh, never mind. Everything happens.
Well, it reminds me of kind of a book series that I read. the last few months that I wouldn't mind reviewing those books and sharing my reviews of them with you, but we'll see what Marco says. So,
Well, you actually have to give notice that you do that, because like you can't just like say like, oh, I read a book like 5 months ago, and
no, I've
could
read
I,
about
could I
14, 15, 16, I don't know how many. I just kept reading it and reading them and reading them.
well,
They're audiobooks.
you should
So,
do that then.
okay, well,
Oh,
I'll get right to it.
okay. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.